All right, good evening, everyone. Tonight is March the 12th, 2018. This is the Westminster City Council meeting. And as always, we open our meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance. For those of you that can't see the front, there's a flag in the back as well. So please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Ms. Parker, would you take the roll, please?
Atchison.
Here.
Bird. DeCambra.
Here.
DeMott.
Here.
Pinter.
Here.
Seitz.
Here.
Scully.
Okay. First item on the agenda tonight, Council, is the minutes of the February 26th meeting. If I could have a motion from a member of the Council on that item. Ms. DeCambra.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the City Council approve the minutes of the meeting of February 26, 2018 as presented.
Ms. Pinter.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify with aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. So for the audience, a little bit different tonight. We have some special guests in the audience tonight, plus we have some people who have been with the city for up to 35 years tonight. That's a very short term for a lot of companies, but we have some in our city who have been here for over 45 years. So we have some very long-term employees. We're going to recognize a few of them tonight. But first of all, let's explain our 2018 Adams County Mayors and Commissioners Youth Award. I've got a short presentation to read up front, and then I'm going to ask each of the students who are being recognized tonight to come forward with the nominator, if that nominator is here. And then we're going to ask them to bring their family members, that includes all family members, up for a photo session. So you're going to get through this for a couple of times. The first one will be with the young men and women who come up to be recognized. We'll have one with their piece. So once you're done, I ask you not to go back and sit down, but for the recipients and their nominators, just go stand off on the side. And when we get through all of those who are receiving awards tonight, we're going to bring all of you over, along with all of the council, come down, and we'll do a group photo from that. So bear with us. We're going to move people around a little bit. It won't be too bad. And I promised that there were no injuries tonight. Okay, so be careful. For those of you who are not understanding what this is tonight, it's basically a recognition of people who have gone through some very traumatic events in their life. This is mostly middle school, elementary, and high school students that have been recognized by a counselor, someone involved in their life outside of the family. So what we're doing tonight is honoring to recognize up to 7 Westminster students, 6 of who are here tonight, who have been nominated for the Adams County Mayors and Commissioners Youth Award. One of these 7 will be going forward as a finalist at the county level. Now, I don't know who that person is yet. Some know, but they haven't, because it's still being kept until all the evaluations are done. So that person or persons that get to go to the county level will be notified after the event tonight. The Adams County Mayors Commissioners Youth Award was established in 1986. The award honors young people who have overcome personal adversity, created positive change in a difficult environment, or have made strides beyond their limitations. And this happens to a lot of the young people who are being here tonight. The individuals being recognized tonight by City Council have faced trauma with courage, emotional and physical health ailments with determination, financial hardships with resourcefulness, and challenges in school with perseverance. So these young men and women have overcome a lot of obstacles in their life. The incredible character, strength, and determination exhibited by our award recipients tonight have contributed to the good of the city, their community, and their schools. We're very proud to present them with the ACM CYA Award. We welcome them along with their family and friends who are with us this evening. We'll present each recipient with a certificate and a small gift in an envelope, which they can share with their family later. So if you are here when your name is called, we again ask you and your nominator to come forward. We'll start the photo process. There will be more than one. And we'll end up with the whole group. So again, if you come up with your nominator, once you're done, if you'll go stand over by the officer over there, and then we'll get the next group up. This won't take too long. There's about 6 of the 7. So let me start with Kaase Sterling. I know she's here. There she is. Kaase was a student at Silver Hills Middle School and was nominated by Libby Heitling. She's not here? You come on up. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, Sterling, this is your certificate, and there's a little gift in the envelope for you. Okay? Good. Congratulations. Run over it. Oliver Elliott. Stacy Dubrow?
We're two teachers.
All right.
Teachers.
You come right on in either way.
Two teachers.
And who are you?
Mrs. Wiesner. Hi, Ellen Riefel.
Good. And this must be Oliver. Good. Okay, you guys will wait right over there for a minute. How about Nicholas James? And Nicholas is also a student at Silver Hills Middle School.
He's also our
Congratulations, sir. Thank you for coming tonight. This is something for you. Okay, good. Smile real big. Okay, good. Escobel, also a student at Silver Hills Middle School, nominated by Laura Hawley. Hey, Laura. How are you doing? Good. Good. This is all for you. Okay, a little gift in the envelope. Real pretty right here. Okay, thank you. Next up, I have Catherine Klippel, nominated by Jamie Barnes of Hope House of Colorado. And from Moore Middle School, we have Andrew LaPerla, nominated by Veronica Brown. Don't let Sis think she's getting out of this. Okay. Oh. Come back one more time. Okay. Look this way. Good. And the person who was not able to join us tonight is Amber Cooper. She's a student at Scott Carpenter Middle School, and she was nominated by Kelly and Nista. So she and Kelly were neither one able to join us tonight. So for those who were receiving the awards, once you come back up, family, come join them. Okay, we're going to start with each student, and the family members come with each of the students, and then we'll get the council and the whole group at one time. So guys, step over just a minute. Let's get you one at a time. Just start from the end. Come this way. However you want to do it. Okay. Where's the rest of your family? All right, let's get this one's family over. Council, why don't you come down and join us?
Jody, where do you want us to go? Do you want us to go all the way back on the
Stand
step?
Come back, guys.
We'll just hover over you.
We'll be behind you. Congratulations.
And I'll take it right over here. I'll take 2.
Oh, she can see now.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Thank you. Congratulations. Sorry, I lied. It was all him.
You told me the truth.
Well, wait a minute.
I'm watching you, Maria.
I'm going to swap with you.
All right. So good.
Grandpa's got the babies. We already met outside. Okay. Look good. Well, it was fun while it lasted. Thanks, guys.
Grandpa, you're the baby back here.
All right, let's go. There we go. Good.
Emma, can you move a little to
Are you friends with Maria?
for the mayor's? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Congrats.
Okay. Come right on in. Hasn't hurt yet, has it?
No, not yet.
She's worried about it hurting.
2 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
Get everybody up.
You have a.
She's not alone.
You need to be lower so you can be.
All set?
Perfect. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Come on now. Remember, stand next to him.
Can you go up on the steps?
Yep.
Okay.
All set?
1, 2, 3.
I know.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thanks, guys. Wait a minute. We got another camera.
Awesome.
Congratulations. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Yeah, good
Thanks for
evening.
coming down.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
All right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Thank you. Congrats.
Yep.
You got all the kids now, just the kids.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Hey,
So,
David.
all of the recipients, if you would, come back one more time.
Where do you think you're going?
Just get my steps in.
Yeah, we did them in here.
David.
Yep.
Just
1,500 more to go. How are you doing?
Here, we'll do them
You probably beat me.
here.
Come over here. There we go. Okay, we got them all in?
Perfect, yep.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yep, got all 6 of them.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
All right, guys.
Congratulations.
So next up, Mr. DeMott, if you want to grab your stuff, we'll go through our Employee Service Awards. Again, we have people here tonight with 20, 25, 30, and 35 years. Mr. DeMott's going to start us off with the 20s.
It's tricking me. Thought I could go sit back down.
More steps.
Okay. Teresa Boko up, and her family or friends that she wants to bring with. How are you?
How are you?
Good. So this is something that we get to do as a city council, is recognize the people who serve the city. I get the 20-year people tonight, which this is a great thing to get to, an honor to get to do, somebody who's been in the city serving us this long. So read a little bit of a bio about Teresa. Teresa began volunteering with the city in 1993 as a victim advocate and was hired into that position in 1998. In her 20 years with the city, she has held 3 different positions: victim advocate in the police department, senior human resource analyst for the human resources, and now policy and budget analyst in the city manager's office. She is grateful for the opportunity to work in different capacities within the organization, especially values all of the wonderful professional relationships she has established across the city. She also feels very fortunate to serve the community in which she lives. Time away for work is focused on faith, family, friends, photography, and writing. Do you have anything you'd like to share with us?
I just would like to add the city's been a wonderful place to work, and again, just a tribute to all of the great coworkers and people that I've had the pleasure to serve with. That's made it truly remarkable. Thank you.
Well, we have a plaque here
Okay.
and a pin.
Thank you.
So I think that way we can.
I know the feeling.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Thanks,
very
Councilor
much.
Demott. Thank you.
To get Angelica Clyburn up, and if she wants to bring any family or friends with her.
Good, how are you?
Good.
This is my daughter, Teresa, and my son, Jonathan.
Hi.
The others are in Texas, so
Texas, huh?
I can't be
Okay.
there.
Excellent. So Angelica helped open College Hill Library in 1998 and was employed for 3 years as the library clerk. Angelica worked at the Circulation Desk, Technical Services, Information Desk. In 2001, she transferred to City Park Recreation Center and worked at the admissions desk, where she was in charge of the pro shop for many years and trained many substitute staff in this fast-paced environment. Many of our long-term guests enjoy chatting with Angelica, some in German. He's a little bit of German.
Yeah.
Excellent. Angelica is working in the registration area. She enjoys hobbies including, I'm going to need you to pronounce the bear collection.
He's a schnauzer.
Schnauzer bear.
And
I thought that's what it said, but.
It's a German dog, so.
Oh, excellent. Reading and crochet, and she has grown 3 children, 3 small grandchildren. Awesome.
Right.
So here's a plaque and a pin
Thank you.
for your service.
Wow, that's impressive.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's all this one.
Is Kelly Alvis here?
There he is. Come on up, Kevin. Bring your family with you, please.
Kelly, thank you, sir, for your service. Thank you. Thank you for loaning us too.
My pleasure.
This ward and the next one are going to be a little bit different because not only did they get this nice pin, they get this nice plaque, but somebody in the family gets control of a nice check. Never doubt who's in control. For every year of service at the 25-year mark, we give them a bonus check of $100 for each of the 25 years. So it's a $2,500 check. I don't know how much is in the check after Uncle Sam gets their part. But Kelly Alvis was hired in 1990 as a seasonal summer employee with the Public Works and Utilities Department. In 1993, he was promoted to the position of maintenance worker, and the following year promoted to the position of senior maintenance worker. After volunteering with the fire department for 2 years, Kelly was hired as a fire engineer in April of 1996. In 2000, after completing paramedic school, he was promoted to the position of paramedic. And during his tenure as paramedic, Kelly was a recipient of the prestigious Life-Saving Award after saving a lone woman who was choking to death. Kelly graduated in 2012 with honors and received his bachelor's degree in public safety and emergency management. Where from?
Grand Canyon University.
Great, great. Later that same year, he was promoted to the position of fire lieutenant. Kelly is currently completing his managing officer certification through the National Fire Academy. And during his 22 years with the fire department, Kelly has served on the Metro Dive team and has also served 11 years on the fire investigation team. In Kelly's spare time, he enjoys spending time with his wife, Liz, who has indicated she has control of the check, and 3 daughters, Samantha, Gina, and Katie. Hi, Katie. They enjoy outdoor skiing and hiking. On the weekends, you can find him watching his daughters on the soccer field. And having been nothing but daughters and both soccer nuts, I know exactly what you're going through. So, Kelly, on behalf of the City of Westminster, thank you. So it's a plaque and a pin where you're honoring your 25 years of service. And since you are the recipient, I'll let you hold it for a moment.
Enjoy.
Yep, it was there. Thank you. What about you? Get them all? Good job, Kelly.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. Again, Liz, thank you for your service. Thank you for your help. Hey, Steve. Patty Bippus.
Patty here? There we go. Patty, you have anybody with you? Well, come on down. Yeah, I see you back there. Come on down.
All right, so Justin and Deb and Louie, come on.
Yeah.
He's not gonna let me be alone.
No, I'm gonna make you share.
Of course.
So Patty currently works as an assistant recreational facility supervisor at the Swim and Fitness Center. She started her career with the city as a lifeguard at City Park Rec Center, where she was quickly promoted to her current title. Patty had the privilege of helping open City Park Fitness Center and then Westview Rec Center, where she has spent over 16 years. Her career has been sprinkled with a few Spirit Awards and Teams in Action Awards, but she is most proud of having the honor of working for a 3-time National Gold Medal winner for Parks and Recreation Management. Who is that?
That would be us. Our department.
Be us.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll make sure we got the right group. Patty loves to travel to her hometown of Salmon, Idaho, each summer to enjoy the company of her family and play on her parents' beautiful ranch, where she will very likely retire someday. Anytime soon.
Time soon.
Okay, good. She also follows her 2 sons, Regan and Connor, to their motocross events where the days are hot, dirt sticks to her eyeballs and teeth, the air reeks of exhaust fumes, gasoline, and is louder than an AC/DC concert. Why do you do that?
The next line.
Oh, Patty absolutely loves watching them race. Well, Patty, on behalf of the City of Westminster, thank you for 25 years of service. This is a small plaque. And I think you get the whole thing. Yeah, you're good. Thank you, dear, for your service.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Good. Thanks, Patty. Have a good one.
I have the honor of doing our 30-year awards, and we only have one attendee. Before I call him up, I just want to say something to all the young people and their families that are still here. I hope you're listening to these stories of these 20, 25, 35-year. These people started as lifeguards and maintenance workers, and they started as interns. And so I hope you, as you're thinking about what comes next, given your current recognition for the courage of what you're facing in your lives, would consider making Westminster your forever home. So just think about us as you're planning for your future. Sorry, John. So, and I'm happy to honor for 30 years, John, who is our city forester. Come on up with your family. Oh, here we go. Well, come on up. Come on up. Oh, tiny foresters.
Yeah.
It's a Kaase, right?
Kaase.
Yep. So, thank you. Please introduce everyone before we get started.
I have my wife, Denise, my daughters, Jen and Jocelyn, and Joanna. This is Jocelyn's guy. This Daniel. That's Jen's husband, John, and grandkids, Ethan and Grant and Elise and Audrey.
Aww.
And 2 of our kids aren't here.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
there's more. All right, okay, all right.
And one of them works for the city of Westminster.
Oh, see?
There's 2 of them, actually.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
2 kids.
So John Kaase is proud to serve as the city forester and manage the city's urban forest. He led the city's maintenance efforts in the early years of the Westminster Promenade as it was built. When he achieved his swimming pool operator's license for the water features at the promenade, his teenage daughter said, "Oh, now you can be a pool boy." Did that work out?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. John served on the board of directors for the Colorado Sports Turf Managers Association as he helped prepare the city to host the soccer training fields for the Colorado Rapids. John has a passion for hiking and climbing mountains and has made 68 ascents of Colorado 14ers. Wow. Individual 14ers?
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. And do you have that shirt with the X's on it?
Yeah.
Oh, I see your shirt. Many in the role of a guide. In his spare time, he likes to travel and spend time with his wife, Denise, their 5 children, and 4 grandkids. Thank you for 30 years of service. This is for you, and there's a pin.
Okay, great, thank you.
And Jody, where do you want us?
We'll get some people to stand on the step behind there if we could, maybe more.
Maybe not the kids.
Not the kids.
You'll get the kids. You guys
Your
can
kids will be in front.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, you can stand on the step later.
Okay, that'll work. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good smile.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
It's all right, it's all right. I'm done.
Grab that pen off before you
Can Chris Pardo and his family please come forward? Chris, do you mind introducing your guest?
This is my wife, wonderful wife, 30 plus years. Rose.
37 years.
I knew it was over 30.
Let me tell you about some of Chris's great qualities. All right, Chris Pardo grew up in the area in the Westminster area and graduated from Random High School in 1981. In 1983, at the age of 19, Chris started his career with the Westminster Police Department as a part-time photo lab technician. And in 2001, he was promoted to senior criminalist. Chris has processed or assisted in over 1,750 crime scenes, including over 400 death investigations. Chris is one of 4 criminalists working in the crime lab, which he feels is one of the best teams in the state. And I'm going to say you're probably right. So Chris has testified numerous times in court as an expert witness in fingerprints, blood stain, pattern analysis, external ballistics, and computer forensics. Although Chris has been doing fingerprints for over 30 years, he recently became certified as a latent print examiner by the International Association for Identification, IAI, one of 30 people in the state of Colorado. Chris is a longtime member of the Adams County Critical Incident Team, SHOOT Team, Rocky Mountain Association of Bloodstain Pattern Analysts, and Colorado AFIS Users Group. Chris has been married, Is there 30, how many years did you say?
I could be wrong too. There's
38.
It might be 38.
38 years.
It's been so long, yeah.
Has 3 children and 7 grandchildren. So Christmas must be fun. During his spare time, he enjoys golf, horseshoes, camping, and fishing with family and friends. So, Chris, thank you so much for your service to the city of Westminster, and thank you for making us a safer place to live. Here is your award. Oh my gosh, I'm throwing a pen at you. Here's your pen, and here is your award.
So we did have a number of people who had service awards that were due tonight, but unfortunately were not able to be with us. So let me recognize Gabe Garcia from the fire department for 20 years, Dan Ponce from the fire department for 20 years, Charles Rowe from our police department for 20 years, and Tina Takahashi from the fire department for 20 years as well. And then Bob Wood from the Capital Development Project Inspector and Community Development for 30 years. Those were not able to join us tonight, but could we have one round of applause for all of them? All right, so for our students and for those who had their service awards, this is your opportunity to make a break for the door. Thanks everyone for coming.
I will see you.
Okay, moving on to our next item on the agenda. This is a time of, that we have citizen communication. Again, this is an item that if we are not holding a public hearing on, we opened it up to anything that you have a comment on. Each person is authorized up to 5 minutes. The little green light on the podium will come on when your time starts. The little yellow one comes on when you have 1 minute left, and the red one comes on when you have exceeded your time or used up what you have. If you don't have 5 minutes worth of material, that's okay. You take what time you need up to the 5 minute mark. Again, this is typically open for anything where we are not holding a public hearing. If you're scheduled for a public hearing, which we do not have tonight, then we would ask you to hold that till then. So I have 5 people who I've received indication that they wish to speak tonight, and I'll call you up, and as each of you get up here, I already have your name and your address. So unless you're coming up with somebody else's name, we should know who you are. First up on our agenda will be Mr. John Flanagan.
I have a handout.
The city clerk, please. And Mr. Flanagan, just before you start, let me clarify. This is a time we listen. This is not a back and forth communication. So this is just citizen communications, not an exchange of stuff going on with the city council. So Mr. Flanagan, please.
Thank you, Mayor Atchison, city councilors. I have just one newspaper article for your consideration tonight. This is a Virginia woman that was killed in a grisly mauling by her pit bull dogs. If you read through this, this is comprised of 3 parts. There's 3 different news stories here, but they're all from the same news network and they all deal with the same issue. Bethany Stevens, 22 years old, killed and mauled by her pit bull dogs. All right. Sheriff James Agnew, 2 very large brindle-colored pit bull dogs. The sheriff suspected that the dogs had been bred for fighting. The first traumatic injury that she suffered was to her throat and face. It appears she was taken to the ground, lost consciousness, and the dogs then mauled her to death. All right. The area where they found the victim's body was covered in blood, very wide area. All right. He said it took 8 hours for the investigators to collect over 60 pieces of evidence. Let's read between the lines on that. The woman was mauled and torn into at least 60 pieces. All right. Absolutely grisly mauling. The sheriff says, in my 40 years, I've never seen anything like it. At the end of these news articles, and again, I apologize, there's women and children in the audience. All right. So I'm trying to ameliorate what I'm giving you so that I don't offend anybody in the audience. These articles, they always have something at the end where people are allowed to comment, kind of like citizen commentary here. Here's one of them. People will never ever learn that pit bulls are not your best friend. They can appear to be and turn in a moment to not being a friend. At least keep them away from children. Good advice. All right. Second part of the story. This is December the 19th. All right. The sheriff quotes, when he arrived on site, the pit bulls, and he had 4 witnesses, 4 other deputies that were looking at this. They were eating her. They were gnawing on her ribcage. All right. Let me cut right to the chase. I observed, as well as 4 other deputy sheriffs, the dogs eating her ribcage on her body. all right? The family gave permission for the dogs to be euthanized, as if they had a choice, all right? The damage was so extensive that there was nothing left to compare bite marks to. That's a woman that's been shredded. Cutting to the last part, the city medical examiner says, yeah, in fact, she was killed by her pit bulls, all right? The medical examiner found defensive wounds on her hands and arms as she was trying to keep the dogs away from her, all right? The evidence of animals chewing on her face, torso, and arms after she died, all right, was conclusive. That's the autopsy report, all right? They say the dogs were a little bit neglected by the dad. What does that matter, all right? We don't know what's going to set these dogs off. We have no idea. Here's the one thing that really struck me about this entire article. One of the pit bulls rescued from an abusive home had a history of aggression. There's two upsides. There's two upsides of the story. One upside is that both the dogs have been euthanized. They're no longer danger to the public. Unfortunately, the second upside is that the woman's ego wrote a check that she had to cash with her own body. We, on the other hand, Beaky, our dog was killed by a pit bull. This is what this is all about. We didn't have that opportunity. Beaky had to cash a check that was written by a pit bull owner. I don't think that's right, all right? People need to learn that some breeds need, this is from the commentary exam, people need to learn that some like wolves are banned for a reason, all right? We had reporters at our house on Sunday this weekend. They were unexpected. But this story has got incredible traction in the media. And it's got legs and it's got wind. The reason for that is that it's a public safety issue. At its very quintessence, this is a public safety issue. We either address it or we refuse to address it. If we refuse to address it, we're at least making a decision that we're not going to address it. We're at least saying we're not going to do it, all right? Let me leave you with this. Beckys Death is a gift, and I hope you guys will look at it like that. The gift is that this was not a child, and that this was in fact a dog. That's the gift that's given to you, and I hope you folks realize it like that. Let's make sure that Becky didn't pay for nothing. Let's get a pit bull. Let's get some kind of something stipulated that says this is what the city's going to do concerning pit bulls. I haven't seen anything like that. I haven't been contacted by animal control officers, haven't been contacted by the city, you, mayor, any of the city councilors, all right? Let's work together. Let's make this a team effort. Thank you for your time and consideration. I'll see you next time.
Catherine Smith.
I'm Catherine Smith. I'm here regarding the eviction of Swag from Rodeo Market Gallery. This is my son, Xander. He came with me because he's been going to Rodeo Market Gallery since he was 3 to do the free art classes. And I just started taking over the art classes this February. And I brought some pictures of the images of some of the artwork the children have done. If you want to
just leave it with the city clerk, please, ma'am.
So I'm just here to give Rodeo Market a face instead of just numbers. It's really important to me. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and so being a member for me something other than my children to keep me going, to keep me focused, makes me a better mom. He likes going. And all we're asking right now is we understand. Well, I don't understand all the reasons because I'm a pretty new member, and that's a history. But we want to look forward, and we want the chance to improve, and we want to at least extend our lease or create a lease through 2018 to prove that we can do it and we can do better. And one of the reasons why I am upset is because I'm a new artist. I just started showing artwork, and I've always been nervous about it. So this is giving me more courage and this coming August was my membership show. So I was really excited to have my very own show for the first time. So with being kicked out, being evicted on the 2nd of June, I wouldn't get that chance. So that's just what we're hoping, is to extend the lease a little bit to prove ourselves. So that's all I have. I just brought some things. Being a mom, you don't have a lot of time to work on things for yourself. And being a member there, I've started working on artwork a lot more. And I just wanted to show some of the things I've been working on for the show in August. I've got to get this kiddo to bed now. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. And Hawley.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. My name is Ann Hawley, and I'm here tonight to talk about swag in the Rodeo Market building. I am a nature and landscape photographer. When I bought my current home in Westminster, it was a new house, and I started doing the lawn and flower beds. I took photos of my flower beds and showed them to people. Everyone said that I should do something with my photos, so I got a better camera and started taking photos in places besides my backyard. My business is...
Pull the mic down a little bit. We can't hear you.
Oh, should I start
that
over?
Works a lot better. No.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Catherine's tall. She probably needed it higher. My business is called Backyard Photos because I started taking photos in my backyard. I started doing craft fairs, and people would ask where the photos were taken. I always tried to point out the ones that were taken in Westminster. I have won awards and have had photos published in magazines, most of them in Westminster. However, when I joined SWAG, I really went from just being someone who took pretty good photos to being a photographer. I learned more about art and the art world than I could have learned on my own. Since we have monthly shows with different themes, I have been challenged to do other things. Nature and landscape. We had a metaphysical show a few years ago, and I took photos in the cemetery of my daughter-in-law that looked spooky and ghostly. They turned out great, and she still has them hanging in her home. Another reason that SWAG is important to me is the other artists and their work. Having the building gives us a place to support each other's work. Just yesterday, Lenny Garcia, who is our Artist of the Month, had a reception at the Rodeo Market. There was a great crowd there. There were people that came to the art districts for Lenny's show that probably would have never come to that area otherwise. I have my art hanging in other locations where it can be viewed and probably bought. But I do that without having anything other to do than drop it off. But it doesn't have a personal meaning to me. Having the Rodeo Market building gives me and the other artists a place where we can commit our time and energies to promote the art community in Westminster and at the same time promote ourselves and each other. We would like the City Council to extend the use of the Rodeo Market to SWAG at least until the end of the year to see if the issues that have been brought up can be ironed out. This seems like it would be fair to all the parties involved. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Beltwell.
Well, good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm Jana Belt, I'm also with SWAG and Rodeo Market Community Art Center. I was here a couple weeks ago talking to you, and I just want to extend the things that we do there. It's not about just hanging our art. It's about the programs that we bring down there. We have children's programs. We also, when it comes to children, we also do, our May show is for the Westminster High School. That is a show that we have every year for the high school. And also, we also do the Adams County, the best of the best. And we go over there and we pick the art and we bring it over and the children can come and see their art in a real art gallery. I think that's very important. And, you know, if you take our building away, they don't have a place to put that stuff. And it's just really sad that we feel like we're a number right now. And we're doing things for the community. We're not just doing them for ourselves. We're all volunteers. So we spent a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it's a great place for people to come down and do all the things that we do. You know, we do the Orchard Festival every year, and, you know, when it rains, yeah, we have bad years. I mean, I think all of us know that. But when it's not raining, we have good years. And we have a lot of things for the children to do. It's a community. It's a community effort, you know, so everybody in the art district puts it together. It's not just us. We all work together. You know, I know we've been told that, you know, we don't communicate with one another, and that's really is not the truth. This district does communicate, and a lot of people don't even know that the city of Westminster has an art district, and I think that's very disturbing and very sad. So pretty much I just hope that you guys would reconsider us and let us stay till 2018 and prove to you that we really do make a difference in the city of Westminster. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Lazar.
Hi, my name is Susan Lazar, and I'm part of SWAG. And I just wanted a minute to let you know the impact that art has on children. Children are our future, and it's been proven in studies that it's important because it helps in their development in 7 different areas. And I have a handout for you about that. Thank you. And if we lose our building, the children have no place to come for their free art lessons. And these children, most of them couldn't afford to go anywhere else for art because they'd have to pay and their parents can't afford it. So you'd be not only putting SWAG out, you'd be putting the children out. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, that's the last person that I had that was signed up for comments, but if there's anyone here in the audience that has a comment they'd like to make that did not sign up, if you want to come down at this time, that would be just fine. Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to our next item, report of city officials. Mr. Andrews.
Mayor, members of council, members of the public, I just have 2 items tonight to report. One, let me start again. Mayor, members of council, members of the public, I just have 2 items tonight. One is to also recognize our employees and the length of service that was represented tonight. We have very dedicated professional employees, and this thank you goes out to them on behalf of the citizens, and also thank you to their families who support all of us as we contribute our careers to the city of Westminster. The second item, I would actually like to ask Chief Carlson to join us at the podium tonight, and Chief Carlson would like to say a few words on school safety in advance of an executive session item that we have scheduled for next Monday.
Chief.
Good evening. Thanks, Mr. Andrews, Mayor and City Council. This has been a difficult time in our country, particularly when it comes to issues of school violence. Particularly the issues in Florida have brought this to our attention, and I've received a lot of questions about, well, what does that mean for the schools in Westminster? And I've been given a unique opportunity this evening to address you on this very difficult issue. And I wanted to bring to your attention some of the things that we do as well. I want the public to know too, the School Resource Officer program that we have in the city of Westminster. It's one of the strongest and most robust programs in the entire metro area. Right now we have 6 dedicated full-time officers as school resource officers. We have a 7th that's being added in the fall. In 2016, council supported the effort to get us a supervisor for that unit. That supervisor, Sergeant Tim Reed, has worked to initiate a comprehensive assessment in not only of our SRO program, but he's worked extensively and continuously with the security teams for all 3 school districts, including Front Range Community College. And I believe we have one of the most robust and safety-focused programs in the entire area, and those efforts continue, and they began long before the events of the past few weeks. Our SRO team has 3 purposes. Number 1 is to provide a safe and secure environment for the faculty, staff, and students of every school in our city. Second is to build strong, trusting relationships with not only the staff, but also with the kids, and do the right thing by our kids. I wish I could stand here tonight in front of you, in front of the public, and say that we will never have a violent event in one of our schools. I simply can't say that. But what I can tell you is that our efforts in collaboration with the schools to prevent violence are extensive, that our preparations and pre-planning as incidents, threat assessments, response protocols, and reunification efforts are second to none in the metro area. All of our staff, all of our sworn staff, all of our SROs are trained in protocols and response to the unimaginable. We do this in cooperation with each of the school districts, with all of our law enforcement partners, fire and EMS programs as well. I believe our schools are safe, and we have worked to maintain the appropriate staffing with the support of this city and what you've done for us. Next week, we're going to have the opportunity, we being the police department staff, myself and Sergeant Reed and others, will have the opportunity to present you a detailed presentation, not only of our SRO program, but the protocols that are in place to improve the safety in our schools, the collaboration that we have with all the school districts, and keeping all of our kids safe. So I thought it was important, and I appreciate being given the opportunity to address this very important topic with you in public, with the public here as well. And next week we'll be able to do that in a little bit more detail, and hopefully you'll see that the efforts that we have paid off in making Westminster schools safe for all our kids. So with that, I want to say thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Mr. Andrews, anything else? Okay. Council, this is your opportunity. If anyone has any comments they'd like to bring forward to the community at this time, please signify with your light, and we'll try to get you on. Mr. DeMott.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about an event I got to go to on Sunday, which is, for those of you who haven't heard of St. Baldricks, if you look them up on Facebook, the thing that they say about St. Baldricks is the one thing they do it well, and that's raise funds for childhood cancer research. I think that this came about because of a former Mayor Nancy McNally's son, Shay McNally, when he was diagnosed with cancer at a young age and has since passed away. This was something that the city got together and did to raise money for St. Baldricks. I know that Jody Carroll has kind of been a point person in this, and I thank her for that, as well as Bob Krug, is that right? Krugmeyer? As well as a lot of other staff. And my son has participated in the last 4 years. And I just wanted to bring it up because this last Sunday when they had their event, which this was 7 years, and over the last 7 years, Jody shared that they have raised over $120,000 in the last 7 years for childhood cancer research just in our group in Westminster, which is pretty amazing. And from what I understood, and I don't know what the total number was, but what Jody shared on Sunday was it was over $20,000 this year, which is the most that they've ever raised in any year that they've been doing that event. So I just wanted to bring it up. In bringing light to the cause, because I think it's a great cause, and two, to thank the staff that puts that on. It really shows what our community's about, and that, you know, these are the kind of things that the city of Westminster does for its own and for others out there. The other thing I wanted to quickly mention is this Friday at the Sonic drive-through at 100th and Wadsworth is Sonic Night with the Westminster Citizen Police Academy alumni. If you go there and eat from 5 to 8, 10% of those proceeds will go back to that group who use those proceeds to support our police department.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Sykes?
So first off, I also want to recognize all of our employees that were awarded length of service awards tonight. We are very lucky to have such a dedicated staff here in Westminster, and the fact that we have such longevity with our staff says a lot about our leadership team. So want to acknowledge that. I also want to say having the community members here and recognizing children for their resilience is a real pleasure and a real bright spot of my job. And then I wanted to thank the residents who are coming here and who aren't happy with us but are dedicating their time to try to advocate for their community and their interests. We can't always make everybody happy, but do know we're listening to you, and your voices are heard, and it helps us make decisions. So thank you. Public safety is also on my mind as of late. In my neighborhood alone, we had 2 different events within a week of each other. A house catty corner from mine caught on fire. Randomly, the fire department was driving through my neighborhood, so actually we're the first to call it in, and we're first on the scene. And a fire that would have probably totaled the home was confined to the garage. I think they're thinking only $60,000 worth of damage, which is significant, but could have been much worse. Later that week, we had a reverse 911 call. Apparently, a potential homicide suspect had fled the police and was hiding in our neighborhood. We got the call to shelter indoors, and then we got the call afterwards letting everybody know he had been apprehended. All week, I have heard from my neighbors thanking me and complimenting our first responders. So I just want to pass that compliment on and say thank you to our first responders. It's easy to be an optimist like I am and trust in people's good intention and to feel safe in my community. And it's easy to forget that that is the result of people's very real efforts and their work that they do, that they put themselves in harm's way to keep me safe and keep me in my blissful, ignorant state that everything is rosy. Last night, I also went to the fundraiser for the Ralston House, which partners with our police department, along with all of the police departments and sheriff departments and social services in the 1st and 17th Judicial District. The Ralston House is a child advocacy center that helps children that have been alleged victims of a crime so that they can go into a safe, comfortable home-like setting so that they can tell their story to a forensic interviewer. It was an amazing event. I was joined by Counselor DeMont, Counselor Pinter, and actually I believe Rich Seymour in the background here in the audience was there as well, and our Director of Parks and Rec, Jason Gank. It was moving to see how many people come together to say, no, you can't hurt kids and get away with it. We want people to be held accountable, and came together to try to make sure there were these supportive services. So absolutely inspiring. And then finally, I want to acknowledge the Westminster Chamber of Commerce. They are having their awards gala on March 30th. And it's a wonderful gala. They're giving awards to different business owners, but they have a Community Inspiration Award. And they are giving it to Westminster PD's own Commander Edna Hendershot for her work on her work as a team on investigating and finally apprehending and helping in the conviction of a serial rapist here in Colorado. It's hard to think that there's people like that exist, but thank goodness for Commander Hendershot and her team for making us all safe. And then finally, I would be remiss, as we're talking about public safety, not to thank my own uncle, who we buried on Friday, who was a police officer in Fresno. So thank you for all you all do.
Any other member of council have any comments at this time? Okay, seeing none, let's move on. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, which is a group of routine matters to be acted on with a single motion and vote. We have reviewed this among the council members. No member of the council has requested an item to be removed, so the motion will be for the approval of the complete consent agenda. Ms. Pinter.
Yes, I move the City Council adopt the consent agenda, items 8A through 8H.
Second.
Mr. Cameron, thank you for the second. All those in favor of the motion, please use your light, and we'll go from there. If I can get it. Come on.
There we go.
There we go. It's finally coming up. Okay, we have a 5-0 vote, and that carries the motion unanimously. Next item on the agenda will be to move to the public hearings and other new business. First item on the agenda is item 10A. This is an authorization for the city manager for design, engineering design services with Martin & Martin. Mr. Cameron.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to authorize the city manager to execute an engineering design services contract with Martin & Martin, Inc. for the Federal Parkway widening from West 120th Avenue to West 122nd Avenue project in an amount of $186,690 and authorize a contingency in the amount of $20,000 for a total authorized expenditure with this firm not to exceed $206,690.
Ms. Seitz?
Second.
Okay, you have a motion second. Is there any discussion by council? Seeing none, this again will be a vote with your lights, please. And the motion carries on a 5-0 vote. Next item will be item 10B. is an Economic Development Department Capital Improvement Project allocation. Mr. DeMott.
Mr. Mayor, I move to authorize the relocation of $100,000 from the Economic Development Department Capital Improvement Project account for Innovative Pavilion to fund capital improvement project work that furthers innovation efforts in the development of the Westminster Station District.
Ms. Pinter?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion by council? Seeing none, this again, we'll vote with your life, please. And the motion carries on a 5-0 vote. Next item on the agenda is Councilor's Bill number 13. Mr. Canberra.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to pass Councilor's Bill number 13 on first reading, amending title 11 of the Westminster Municipal Code concerning group homes. Thank you.
Ms. Seitz.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion by any member of the council? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote. If you will, Ms. Parker.
Atchison.
Yes.
DeCambra.
Yes.
DeMott.
Yes.
Pinter.
Yes.
Seitz.
Yes.
There we go. Okay. Motion carries on a 5-0 vote. Ladies and gentlemen, that does complete the agenda for the Westminster City Council. So I'll ask the members of the Board of Directors of the Westminster Station General Improvement District to convene as the motion of the consideration of the minutes of the last meeting of February 26th. So, Mr. DeMott, if you would, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the board approve the minutes of the meeting of February 26, 2018 as presented.
Ms. Pinter?
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the consideration of the minutes. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Next item of business is Councilor's Bill number 12 on second reading. It's a roll call vote. Ms. Seitz, would you start us off with a motion, please?
Sure. Mr. Chairman, I move to pass Councilor's Bill number 12 on second reading to include city-owned land into the Westminster Station General Improvement District.
And do I have a second from a member of the board? Mr.
Second.
Cameron? Thank you, Mr. Cameron. I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion by any member of the board? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote. Ms. Parker, if you will, please.
DeCambra.
Yes.
DeMott.
Yes.
Pinter.
Yes.
Seitz.
Yes.
Atchison.
Yes. Motion carries on a 5-0 vote. Members of the GID Board of Directors, we are adjourned. We are also adjourned from the City Council. The item that was scheduled for an executive session at post-meeting has already been concluded, and therefore, ladies and gentlemen, you are free to go home.